Dr. Michael, I have to tell you that I feel extremely blessed. Also, I'm looking forward to what we're about to get out of this because I'm going to be completely transparent here and people might be asking questions and that's fine. But I feel like it's got to be unmuted with Nina Chantele because if I'm not real and honest and it comes out later, then they're like, really? Why did you lie? I've never seen a therapist before in my life. And I know you like to call it something else.
Thrivapist. I'm a thrivapist.
Why do we call it that?
Because it's about thriving. Where therapy is always trying to treat something. Thriving is like trusting whatever's showing up is actually happening for you. And that's a hell of a great assumption because it gives you the most optimal mindset to handle it like a boss.
In the way that when we first connected, when I wanted to see somebody and I wanted to be able to have a conversation because of so much that has been happening in my life. And I was suggested to you and it was by a person that I trust in this world. And I was like, you know what? It would be great to have a conversation first. And immediately you and I over the phone connected. And so for you to invite me here into your sanctuary and this is the first time me seeing a thrivapist.
Right.
I always assumed and I always envisioned myself that it would be this way. I'd have a pillow and I'd grab it and I'd be sitting on a couch. Is this like a thing that people think that is?
I think it's great that you're honoring that. And I really appreciate that because what I want to know when we start out is I want authentic you to show up.
Okay.
Because then we're going to get the most out of it. So you being true to yourself right now, and I'm telling you, I could do this. And
why do people do this? Is it a thing?
Comfort. It's safe. It's security. It feels really good. No, I look, it just feels good.
Really? Okay, so I'm not being like I'm watching a show and I'm being like this person who...
What's fun is watching your relationship to what you're doing and like you're questioning yourself, like trust yourself, man.
Because I always see like people go and they like lay down on a couch when they go to speak to their therapist and they're like this and they're kicking their foot in the air.
I love those images too. I think those are great images. I've never done that in my entire life where I sat at the head of somebody and they were laying down and like tell me.
Yeah.
But I don't see that as being a bad thing either. It just seems a little excessive. I mean, this seems fine.
Okay. So this is why I'm in my position. This is my first session with a thrivapist. And, I had to come all the way to Atlanta to see you because, like I said, I've never done this before. And for somebody that I trust wholeheartedly, for them to suggest you and for me to get that energy from you, I feel comfortable to talk to you about all of the things. So I'm just going to just get at it and tell you that probably in September, I think it was, a lot started shifting. I decided to start launching Unmuted with Nina Chantele prior to. And then I'm like, we need to do more of like getting on camera. I started putting my truth out there. And I discussed about how on National Radio Day, I kind of like lost my passion for radio. And I started giving my feelings about that. And it did turn into something. So I released that. I said that. I started shifting in my way of, okay, I spoke my truth. And I was like, let's go, full force with it. During that time, what people don't know is I also needed to transition out of the place that I've been living in Los Angeles for a decade. Literally the same place that I moved to when I moved to LA, which I love. It was like a Melrose Place. The best neighbors, friends, everything that I've known in this place in LA, I was moving out of. So life was shifting into a new chapter already, right? So I'm going through this new podcast. I'm shifting into let's face reality. Let's try something new and jumping into Unmuted. And then I move and I'm like, okay, starting fresh. Do you know that I got to the new place October 1st and on October 8th, my mother calls me and says, your grandfather has taken a turn for the worse. You need to come home to Chicago. He's been admitted to hospice. Of my grandfather, 100 years old. He and I are so close. And I'm la nieta favorita, the favorite grandchild. That's our little running joke, but really my cousins know. They're rolling their eyes, but this is the truth from my heart and soul. He and I had this relationship. So I get there, I fly there on emergency on the 8th. He's in hospice every single day. I'm driving my mom an hour up north to Swedish Covenant Hospital, and I'm just reliving this right now. So I'm going every day. I'm glad you brought the tissues. And it's just long days of seeing him get worse and knowing that the conversations you're about to have are, get ready to have them be meaningful ones. And their days were so long, and we were there caring for him and doing all the things that, sadly enough, I was seeing on that floor in a hospice, is seeing some of these patients that didn't have all the family that he had there to comfort him in the room and sit with him in the room. Of course, when the vitals and things weren't being taken, we were the ones shifting his body and things. Every single day was like that, and it just became extra draining, not only with emotions, but like sleeping and driving my mom and having to care for my mom in her privacy of her own home when we do go back. Because my mom also has a little bit of health conditions where I needed to make sure that she was also eating and she was also caring for herself. That was the 8th that I got to Chicago, and he passed on the 13th. All of those days were so many things going through my mind and saying goodbyes. And when other things I needed to do in my daily life, I felt like I'm dealing with this and there's so much here, and family first for sure. But then so much you have to also worry about on the other end, your personal life. How's that going? How's your personal life? Are you keeping up with your significant other? Are you keeping up with your job? Are you keeping up with the responsibilities that you feel that that you have to maintain? And it's just not happening. It's like everything is frozen all in one time, but everything feels like it's getting pushed to the background. And now, when he passed, it was like we prayed for it to be something for him to go, because we didn't want him to be in pain anymore. So I think for that's what gave us more peace. But then it was time to face reality and, have your bereavement days and get back into the routine. And now I'm here. And I needed to talk to you, because how do you move forward with so many changes that happened all at once? When people say life comes at you fast, it really does. How do you move forward from now?
Well, the first thing, obviously, is I'm sorry about your loss. That has to be first.
Thank
And
you.
I'm proud of you as speaking your truth. I think that is the most beautiful practice. This is about process. It's not about result. And as long as you're speaking your truth, you can trust that. And I heard you say a few things where the nipping at the heels, you got to think, you got to get back, you got to get back. That's your animal brain talking, and that's a reflexive brain. And self-love is when you could actually answer and quiet those inner voices and have your own back in a very loving way and be like, yo, Nina needs a little time right now. And one of my favorite lines, and I've used this quite often, which is true, is that the greater the love, the greater the loss. And I celebrate the fact that you had and still hold that kind of love for your grandfather. That is huge. That's a blessing that you cannot ever lose. You can't lose that blessing. So I do celebrate the fact that you had that at all. And the fact that it was his time.
Yeah.
And it seems like he lived to be
100.
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy, right? Yeah.
And he had you as a granddaughter.
Thank you.
No, seriously, that's nothing you
He has
want to
so many
minimize.
great grandkids and great grandchildren. Yeah.
But do you understand, and let me just give you this one little piece about what thrivopists or really I like thrivopeutics and just this whole platform. It's to just help you be gentle with yourself. You say, how? Life wants you to hear how. And so by just stopping and giving some quiet time and breath and letting the stillness speak and trust that you're going to be downloaded with new content where you can speak your truth and new truths, and trust that. I think that is unbelievable. Where if you can have your own back and give yourself permission to grieve, give yourself permission to quiet those voices.
Yeah.
And say, the greater the love, the greater the loss. This is an insurmountable loss. And I think that for me, that's the ultimate way of honoring his life, is acknowledging how organic it is for you to love him as much as you do and to grieve him as hard as that grieving is. And so just as I say that, what do you feel? I mean, are you feeling any comfort by hearing those words, or are
Yes.
those words seeming like they're not getting in?
No, I feel comfort by that, but I feel like myself just by, I gave you the background of like September, October, and all of the things that were happening at once. And like how I said, life comes at you fast. It like slammed me in the face. And I know that I'm not the only one on this earth that feels this way. So many people that are watching and listening, I want them to know that they're not alone, that I understand because I'm in it. And sometimes it's one thing that somebody out there that's listening could be going through, like how transitioning in career. Like I said, that was a part of it at the beginning. Jumping into a new project and being nervous about it with unmuted. Moving. So many people in this economy have lost. How would you say in separate ways for anybody to be able to move forward in a mourning process of their own thing?
But you're trusting it, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. If you can just like trust your process, then does it matter? Really, if you're trusting it, does it matter? Can it be what it is? Or is there that little little judgmental voice in the background who's deciding what is a good way of processing this and what is a bad way? Or can it be unconditional? Can you just be going through what you're going through and be gentle with yourself, which is the big one? Can you be gentle with yourself, especially with the knowledge that you've been through so many changes, major changes, geographical changes, grandfather passing away, changes at work, changes in your vocation, having the courage to even start unmuted. I mean, can't you give yourself a little love about all of that? Keep moving, obviously keep moving, but do it optimally. You said something that's very powerful about everything coming at you. You don't have to meet chaos chaotically. Just because a lot is coming at you and it seems chaotic doesn't mean you have to meet it chaotic. As a matter of fact, if you meet it chaotically, you're probably meeting it suboptimally. You're probably not meeting it like a boss. So just because it's coming at you, you have more of a call to answer to meet it from a calm state of mind, from your highest self, from your most peaceful self, your most truest self. That is a call that you have to answer. You're being urged to meet chaos in a more optimal way, not chaotically, because you don't want to justify meeting chaos chaotically because it's chaos.
You said some key words. I do move like a boss. No, just kidding.
No, you
honestly,
really do, though. Don't own that, claim that. That's beautiful. I love that. You actually do.
I own that and I claim that because that's another thing that if we're going to have an honest conversation and be real, that's always what I have been known to be, the person that's just what she does.
It's beautiful.
So how do you get into a vulnerable place where it's like you just know that everybody expects these things from you? There is no Nina, or her empire falling. It's you have to keep your shit together, and you have to. With my family, with my own personal life, how I receive and how I act on things, how I speak upon things, how I manifest things, how I approach myself in public, how I have to handle everything from being an on-air public person to, trying to combine that with keeping up with your finances. All of the things that smash people in the face can happen to anybody. And I always have to perform and be and remind myself of who the F I am, because how can I preach that to somebody else if I'm not doing it myself? So when you say do it like a boss, that's what I mean. I have to hold that. And is that a bad thing too? Is that...
You don't have a choice. I mean, think about it. If you do things like a boss anyway, and you're organically wired for that, and you are a boss, then it's almost like conceding to it. It's almost like letting your bossness take it. But again, it is about process. And when you talked about like people expecting a lot from you, right? And how many, having all these outside influences. I don't care about the outside influences. I care about you. What do you have for you? What do you hold for you? Can you really hold the highest for you? Can you expect the most of yourself without going into that realm of chaos? Because you expect more of yourself. So can you truly be at peace with expecting more of yourself and doing it like a boss, where boss means level-headed, peaceful, not like a chicken without a head on. You don't have to do it chaotically, that you could do it from your higher self. Now, I think if you're answering that call, it won't matter how much people expect from you, because you'll be answering your own call because you expect more from yourself to handle it the way a boss would handle it, which is pretty peaceful and pretty calm and pretty level-headed. And that would be great for you to start looking in the mirror and go, look at you, Nina. Look at how you've always been a boss, but look at how handling things like a boss now got a lot more peaceful, where it's actually all working on my behalf now. And all I'm doing is just leaning into whatever I need to be doing to please me, which is handling it like a boss.
Thank you. You put it in terms of like, you make me think. And honestly, when it comes to peace and you saying doing things peacefully, I have a birthday that's coming up. So, I mean, you're older and they say you're wiser, but they also say with age, you do start to realize that, I always say this, life lessons, right? You move differently. And the way that you're saying that I've been handling it, because it did feel like chaos while it was all happening, and how I was reacting for myself was like, oh my gosh, like talking to my best friend, I literally was telling them, why is everything happening to me all at once? It's just one, I can't cut a break. Everything's happening to me all at one time. And it does feel that way.
Does that mean it is that way?
It is happening all at one time.
But aren't you in charge of having your own peace? And aren't you in charge of not allowing the chaos to put you into a chaotic state of functioning? Don't you really believe that at the same time that everything you're saying is true, there is also a really beautiful path forward for you, that you can let all this chaos be out there while in here you are so much more like safe, secure, protected, immune. I love that idea of having personal immunity, where so much chaos can be out here, but you don't allow it through here. And isn't that the best definition of self-love, of having your own back, by letting all of that chaos be, but outside of you? You could observe it, but you don't let it in, and you don't like participate in it. Even if you see it, you can go, I see chaos. It's like, peace. I'm calling on peace right now. Like, cool. Now you kept that out there because you saw the chaos, as opposed to, I see chaos, I'm feeling chaotically, I'm just going to let this go. I'm going to be an animal with a chicken without its head on, and I'm going to give myself permission to react like this because all this is coming at me. It's like, isn't it, since all this is coming at you, that you have to double down on taking care of yourself, self-love and peace?
It's true.
Good.
It's true. Also, I don't want to be a person where when you talk to like your confidants in your life, that you're draining, because, those are your confidants, who are the people that you're supposed to tell what is going on, right?
You seem again to put your monitoring out there about other people. I just don't want you to drain yourself. And just because you can have so much juice in chaos doesn't mean that you're not draining yourself. So you really have to serve yourself and stop worrying about, I don't want to be a drain on others. If you're addressing your own quote unquote calls to answer, if you're not meeting chaos chaotically, how the hell could you ever be a drain on somebody else if you yourself are maintaining your peace?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Don't worry about other people. Don't let them worry about themselves in answering their calls internally, and you just answer yours. You already are a boss. You really are. This is not me being a sweet talker. You have everything. You have all the ingredients to be uberly successful for many, 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 many years. But you do have to step up in how that looks, like your process. It's almost like having to develop a policy. You're developing, what are your policies in being a professional? Well, as you start writing what these policies are, and then you maintain them, you go to the next level of success, and then the next level of success. And you're doing it like a boss, and you're redefining what that means to do it like a boss. Where in the old days, doing it like a boss meant, now doing it like a boss is, letting everything move and you just taking care of yourself. And so you're redefining what it means to handle your greater successes, your newer successes in 2026, like a boss. And don't you want to be a student of that?
I do. Because how can I sit here try to help others, which I love to do, if I am not owning my own.
Well,
And
there it is again. Your focus is still on others, which is beautiful. But I mean, here I just said what I said, and right away, the first chance you had where I shut up long enough to let you to speak, and you're still focusing on others.
you're not, I laugh because you're not the only person who says that.
So the force is strong in this one. So basically, to get through to you, you must hear it 1,000,000 times or 500,000 times. But that's okay. That's the integrity of your process. At least you know what you're dealing with. You can go, the force is strong. And I inherited this person called Nina, right? Queen Nina.
Queen Nina,
I
thanks for that.
inherited Queen Nina. And it's good to know that Queen Nina needs constant reminders that it's okay not only to focus on herself, but for her to be a little gentle with herself and to calm all those voices that as a reaction come up. And that's good. You want those voices to come up because it is definitely carving a path for you to go, I have to self-love here. I have to have my back and go, thank you, annoying voices, who are really being, worry about other people. What are other people thinking? Like, what do I think? I think I really am as awesome as I think. And you are. And you're getting better, which you are. If you're here with me right now and you're playing around in Thriveapeutics, this is as pregnant as a human being can get. Really, truly, as far as potential and greaterness. Now, yes, there's many more steps that you have to do to follow through, but it's still, what an incredible step. I mean, an amazing step. And here you are traveling from California to be here. The person in the mirror knows you did that. And you're certainly not getting cheated with the content, right?
No,
right? So put it all together. Now you can look in the mirror and you're like, wow, I really am working on my greater self.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and thank you for taking the time to open your sanctuary for me on your day off. I know that this is your time off, but
may I interrupt? We did speak on the phone. If you didn't feel the way you felt, if we didn't get on the way we got on, do you think I would be opening up my house, my sanctuary, to somebody else? Or did you establish yourself as being an offer that I am not allowed to refuse?
no,
Think about it. Just really be honest. Be honest. You really think all people sound like you when I'm on the phone? And you were on the other end of that phone. How was that call, that first call?
felt like we knew each other already.
So wouldn't it only make sense to invite you into my home? Or am I going to say she has to establish herself a little more before I feel safe? It's like, no,
thank you.
No,
thank
but you brought that. You brought that, and that's okay.
I just didn't know, like, with the first, who was going to, like, just the first time doing this, as I told you at the beginning of us sitting down and talking and opening up publicly about all of these things that I did slightly, but now, like, okay, I know that, listen, some people think that therapy is like what would be the word that you would say as a thrivist? Some people would look at that like taboo, but I want people to know that if you want to help yourself.
Let me interrupt. I want to share something. I can't wait for you to watch this video. Because how you just shared right now was so much more peaceful. And if you don't understand the power of Thriveapeutics, it's right there. How you first started talking and your energy and how well you have received me and what I am offering, because it just offers. You could say thanks, but no thanks, Dr. Michael. But clearly you're going to see a shift in your energy and how you just shared so significantly more peacefully. And there's no way any human being is going to go, that earlier version of her is functioning more optimally than this peaceful version of her that just spoke. So thank you for not just hearing me, but conceding and letting yourself get the benefit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just feel a sigh of relief. And
well, you're not doing it like that version of a boss. I feel more peace in and all around you. And that's a form of claiming it that goes way beyond words.
I really appreciate you. And I would love to have more conversations with you and keep up together.
I love it. I love what we have. I love the us. I love us. How about that?
I love us.
How about that?
Heart you. Thank you, Dr. Michael. Thank you.
I love how quickly we just blasted through that. Are you feeling complete? This is a good place for you?
Yeah.
All right.
I feel
Beautiful.
good.
Do you mind if I ask our producer? Does our producer feel complete?
I'm complete.
Wow. How do we want to end this? Anything besides that right now? Or how would you like to end this, knowing who you are, your brand, where this is going? What would you like to say to really integrate this and, knock this out of the park for you?
I love us too, and Unmuted with Nina Chantele, this podcast is, I've always said this, is because silence never told the full story. So how could I very well be silent about a transition that I'm going through in my life? So thank you for being a part of it with me.
You're welcome. I would love to respond to one thing. I think every second silence is telling the full story, but it's like eating an elephant. You got to do it one bite at a time. You got to take the story one breath at a time. Every moment you've got the full story. It's just so much that you can only do it one step at a time, one moment at a time. And I can trust that if you're doing it like a boss, the peaceful boss, that you're doing it pretty damn optimally.
Thank you, Dr. Michael.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Till next time.
And there will be.
Cool. Thanks.